To quote the great North American poet David Ramsey, I'm living today like none of my friends will, so tomorrow I can live like none of them can't. If you're anything like me, you sometimes can feel like the odd man out when it comes to doing certain things with friends and family, when it comes time to, maybe do expensive exotic vacations, expensive destination weddings for people you barely know, buying expensive gifts for colleagues that, you barely like, you know. And I always say, sometimes you have to figure out the right way to say no because the sad thing is if you're someone that's on a really purpose driven path or you have really set goals, if you really know what you want and you really have a plan to accomplish your goals in your life, you're going to sometimes feel lonely and you're going to sometimes feel like no one understands you. Now, there are some that tell, well, you shouldn't care what anyone says. As long as you know what you're doing and you're doing the right thing, you shouldn't care. You should just. I say no. You know, if you do that, you risk being so odd and so outside, the box where you lose the ability to collaborate and use the efforts and the knowledge of those around you. There are lots of things that my friends and some members of my family do that I just simply wouldn't do. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, I had a friend of mine. He met this lady, and within a month and a half, maybe 2 months or so of meeting this lady, he, I think for her birthday, decided to plan a trip where he went to Thailand and Dubai. Okay, I'm like, let me get this straight. You just met this girl, and you're so head over heels that you're going to buy a ticket for maybe five, six, $7,000 to go to Thailand, lodging, and then you're gonna go to Dubai. Doesn't make sense to me. And in that moment, it's like, well, if you got it, I work hard for what I have, and oh, you're such a stick in the mud. Things to that effect. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna tell you what you can or can't do. I'm just telling you what I won't do. And even if I knew someone for 10 years, if I was married for 10 years, if I have a mission and a purpose about myself, there are certain types of vacations. Yes, there's something to be said about living and having experiences. The new thing is don't spend money on stuff, spend money on experiences. Same thing. Have a purpose. Because this friend of mine, I think they did this vacation on credit. You didn't even have the $10,000 or $11,000 to do that. I know she wanted to do it for her birthday, and they're not together now, by the way. So that relationship didn't last very long. It was maybe 6 to 8 months. I think that relationship lasted. Have a purpose about yourself, but know how to say no. The way you should say no is let people know, hey, look, right now I'm really focused on a goal and it's really important to me. I really need to hit some of these milestones. You may say things like, right now I don't have my emergency fund and I really need to get that in order. I really need to do this. I really need to pay off the student loan because, man, once I pay off my student loan, I'll be on a path. Or, man, I'm almost finished paying off my mortgage or something like that. Or, this car note, I'm almost done. If I push really hard, I can end this 8 months early and, I'll be fine. I won't need to buy another car for a while, so I should be able to save some money. Have a purpose about yourself and use that as the excuse because resisting social pressures will make you look awkward. If you have, I was dating a woman back, maybe a few years back, where she had a co-worker and they had a destination wedding to Jamaica and it was a few $1,000s and I had never actually met the people. She barely knew them and there was no way in the world I was going to spend several thousands of dollars on a destination wedding 7 days in Jamaica. That wasn't going to work for me because I had a purpose about myself and I really want to accomplish certain things. She didn't like that. She thought it was weird. She ended up going on her own, on her dime. But no, you have to find ways to resist social pressure because If you don't, you will really suffer. No one's going to have to suffer with your emergency when you don't have an emergency fund but you. So it's important to find clever ways to say no, but also try to maintain those relationships, or try to nurture relationships where you don't have people around you that want to do those frivolous things, because you really should be focusing on making things happen. If you have children and you don't know the first thing about setting up a fund for their schooling when they graduate high school, and you're going on these trips, you're probably, to borrow a phrase from Bomani Jones, you're probably hustling backwards, and you should probably use those as the reasons why you can't do certain things. Save the friendship and save your wallet as well.